Well, we'll do this so that anybody online can't tell that there's only 5 people out there.
The lyrics are going to be up on here. It's raining.
Are they saying yes or no?
I got to sit in the front row.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome to this vigil for climate justice. We're gathered here on Treaty 2 territory, unceded land of the Dakota, traditional territory of the Cree, Oji-Cree, Anishinaabe, and the heartland of the Métis Nation. We are grateful to the first people on this land who have recognized for millennia that the land is sacred and gives us life. They have cared for the land in ways that settlers to this country did not respect, and we open ourselves to learning from them how to restore the Earth's balance. We're glad that you've joined us here tonight in our vigil. Members of Knox Church, its outreach committee, and the Green Team, and local and national Kairos organizations have shared the planning for our evening. And we joined communities across Canada this weekend in coming together in recognition of those who are meeting in Egypt at the World Climate Conference, and out of common concern for Mother Earth. This will be a time to reflect and share our love for the planet, our concern for ourselves and our fellow human beings at risk from climate change, and our hopes for truly transformative action to happen at COP27 and through each other. We come together to pray for the people involved in COP27, express our gratitude for their voices, and express our hope that their commitment will raise public awareness of the issue of climate crisis. We recognize that individuals and communities most affected by climate change have not been heard or included in decision-making regarding their environments. Over the past weeks, youth delegates from Canada and the Global South have been sharing their concerns about the impact of climate change caused by actions beyond their control. And they are taking these messages to COP27. We'll hear 3 youth delegates and their messages this evening. One of the themes of the delegates from Canada is that we must decolonize our understanding of climate change. We must respect the sovereignty of Indigenous people and involve and learn from Indigenous peoples around the world in the work to adopt regenerative practices. We must acknowledge how our privileged actions in the West have an impact on the lives of millions across the globe. Despite increasingly clear evidence of the climate emergency, leaders across the world, and yes, here in Canada, are failing to take the decisive action needed to protect our world, and particularly the most vulnerable members of the global community. Canada has yet to reduce our national emissions. Our government continues to approve and subsidize new fossil fuel infrastructure, and we are falling behind in our commitments to fund energy transitions in less developed countries. This cannot continue. I would like to share some words from the United Nations Development Program. We have no time to lose. The last 7 years have been the hottest ever recorded. We're rapidly approaching dangerous tipping points for human health and safety, ecosystems, and property and infrastructure. However, the climate and nature crises are not inevitable. We know what we need to do and how to make our planet clean, sustainable, and equitable. Now we need the political will and investment. In country after country, the United Nations Development Program has witnessed, alongside our key partners, the transformations achieved when leadership, political will, and investment come together. Change is possible. The decisions we make today will impact every generation to come. COP27 taking place in Egypt is an opportunity to move the needle. The United Nations calls on all governments, private sector, civil society, and communities to champion and invest in responding to this global emergency and in supporting countries to realize their pledges on climate action. To deliver on the commitments made, we need to scale up the political will, technical and financial support to drive the much-needed transformation toward net zero and climate-resilient pathways. The world has made promises. Now we must fulfill them. Delegates from Canada call on our governmental authorities to work towards more comprehensive and robust legislation to address the environmental racism, human rights violations, and environmental destruction caused by Canadian enterprises operating in the Global South and in Canada. These actions are sometimes described as not in my backyard development activities on a global scale. Just because it's not happening in our backyard or our part of the country, does that mean it's okay? In Canada, there are currently 3 bills in Parliament designed to end environmental racism and make corporations accountable. At the back of the sanctuary, you will find information on these bills and ways to make your voice heard on this legislation by contacting your Member of Parliament. There is some good news. We were warned that business as usual would result in 4 or even 5 degrees of warming. Apocalyptic. The Washington Post recently said that now, with the world already 1.2 degrees hotter, a United Nations report released this week ahead of the COP27 climate conference confirmed that warming this century will most likely fall between 2 or 3 degrees. Minister of Environment Stephen Gobet reported from COP27 that the number might be as low as 1.7 to 2.4. Thanks to astonishing declines in the price of renewables, a truly global political mobilization, a clearer picture of the energy future, and serious policy focus from world leaders, we have cut expected warming almost in half in just 5 years. So it can be done. The window of possible climate futures is narrowing, and as a result, we are getting a clearer sense of what's to come. A new world, full of disruption to billions of people, well past climate normal, and yet mercifully short of that terrifying climate apocalypse. Many delegates to COP27 come from parts of the world where damage caused by the climate crisis is apparent now. Their priorities are reparation, a total ban on new oil extractions, honest and responsible investments in renewable energy sources, reforesting and solving the water crisis that affects millions. All these issues call for action from the industrialized and developed North. We would like to share with you now 3 voices of youth who are contributing their messages about the impact of climate change and hopes for future action.
Sagale Sagle, Tia Niugets, Buju Ganokwe Indigenous Cause Mine Gendoram, Bekish Gwanan Dunjiba, Anishinaabe Kwayandao. Hi, I'm Tia Kennedy. I'm of the Wolf Clan. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a part of the For the Love of Creation delegation, and I come from 2 First Nations communities, Oneida Nation of the Thames and Walpole Island First Nation. These are located in Turtle Island, which is now known as Canada. I'm studying public administration and governance at Toronto Metropolitan University. I carry both Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe teachings. As an active member in my community, I advocate for fairness and justice for my people. Currently, I do this in different ways by uplifting voices, empowering Indigenous youth, education, consulting, policy, and film. I currently work at the Assembly of First Nations in the health sector as a policy analyst, and I've recently finished filming a short documentary on the water crisis for First Nations communities. Climate change is affecting much more than my work and people that work in my region. It's affecting my identity, my culture, my community, right before our faces. My work is just one single component. It intersects across various social determinants. To be quite honest, I think the biggest way climate change is affecting my work is through my mental health. It's difficult to focus on developing health policy when the health of our planet is so scarce. How can we manage to heal ourselves when we can't heal the earth? Without her medicines, we will perish. In regards to climate change, we need land back. Indigenous peoples deserve more than just a seat at the table. They should be leading the conversations with diverse communities when it comes to climate change solutions. Indigenous peoples have the longest standing relationship with Mother Earth and the necessary values to effect meaningful and quick change. We view the earth as our mother rather than a resource for monetary gain. Those are the people that should be leading these conversations, because the solutions have always been here. But unfortunately, our current governments are not willing to make the necessary changes and have a history of excluding Indigenous peoples in decision-making forums about the land, while also failing to uphold restrictions and holding corporations accountable to the degradation of our ecosystems. Sigali.
I'm Paul Belisario, Assistant Global Coordinator of the International Indigenous Peoples Movement for Self-Determination and Liberation. We are an Indigenous Peoples Movement based in the Global South here in the Philippines. The climate change, climate imperialism impacts Indigenous peoples, communities, rural communities on how they live every day. It impacts on the kinds of disaster that they experience, the landslides, the many degradation of their ancestral lands, and even the way and how they produce their food, and how they exercise their culture, and how they live and exercise their spirituality and their ways of life. The many causes of the climate change that we experience today, the degradation of our environment, the exploitation and plunder of natural resources, all this is faced mainly by Indigenous peoples as many development projects, destructive projects enter their lives, their communities, and their ancestral lands. Our message to the Canadian federal government, our message to the Canadian peoples, for them to extend their solidarity and unity with Indigenous peoples and rural communities, for them to recognize their role in protecting our environment, in protecting our planet, and for them to realize and stand and defend their roles in combating climate change by recognizing their rights, by recognizing their ancestral land. We are making our way, we are making our move to protect and stop climate change.
Soy Ivonne Llanes, de Acción Ecológica, ecologista y feminista ecuatoriana. Desde hace más de 20 años trabajo en el tema del cambio climático, denunciando las causas del problema, como son las actividades extractivas de combustibles fósiles, petróleo, gas, carbón, pero también denunciando a las formas de producción y consumo que son quienes provocan el calentamiento global. También denunciamos desde Acción Ecológica las falsas soluciones, como aquellas que son de mercado, de compensaciones de emisiones de CO2, o también aquellas falsas soluciones que se proponen de geoingeniería que tienen altísimo riesgo para la vida en el planeta. Todas estas falsas soluciones lo que hacen es permitir que los grandes contaminantes
We're going to join Madeline and Quentin in song. Those 3 clips can be found along with the other delegate presentations on the Kairos website, kairoscanada.org, if you were interested in hearing more. This song is Song for the Children, and the words will be on the screen.
Yeah. So often it seems that when we, at the official level, at the global level, when there's discussions about climate change, it soon turns towards the economics and the economic problems of trying to halt the climate crisis. And if we could just reframe that discussion and always be asking in those contexts, so what are the economics of leaving an unlivable planet for our children and our grandchildren? Then if we relentlessly kept that question in front of people's eyes, I can't help but think that the conversation would change. So, because we love our children, we say we do, we need to act like we do. And so this song is for the children and the change that our love for them might bring. Join along singing, because it's real easy to sing this. Sing, sing for the children, sing, sing for the children, sing, sing for the children, sing for the future that love may bring. A time when we don't tell convenient lies, a time when the smog doesn't fill up our skies, when the carbon dioxide levels won't rise. Sing, sing for the children. Sing, sing for the children, sing, sing for the children, sing, sing for the children, sing for the future that love may bring. When internal combustion's not driving our cars, the fight for the oil isn't fueling our wars, the eagle and dove not the vapor trail soars. Sing, sing for the children. Sing, sing for the children, sing, sing for the children, sing, sing for the children, sing for the future that love may bring. When the power we need only comes from the sun and the wind and the water for which we all come, through the power of the people, the victory's won. Sing, sing for the children. Sing, sing for the children, sing, sing for the children, sing. Sing for the children, sing for the future that love may bring. Sing, sing for the children, sing, sing for the children, sing, sing for the children, sing for the future that love may bring.
Well, it'll be hard to sing a song and hold a candle.
we'll use it from here. And I need my paper. We have come together tonight to join our voices with voices from faith communities across the world. In so many parts of the world, people have come together in prayer and reflection and meditation to support meaningful decisions and intentions for urgent coaction at the climate conference, COP27 in Egypt. Recognizing that this could be a multi-faith gathering, we're going to hear some thoughts and some brief words of prayer or reflection. Then there will be a moment of brief silent meditation for your own silent thoughts as well. Madeline and Quentin will bring our silent time and our vigil to a close by leading us in some singing. Creating Spirit, you have called us to be in loving relations with all of the earth, living with respect in creation, choosing love, and seeking justice at all times. Instead, humankind has acted in hateful ways, exploiting natural resources, choosing power and seeking wealth in the present over future abundance and health. We confess to you, Sacred Creator, our complicit role in that exploitation. We acknowledge that we have not respected the teachings of the first people of this land. We acknowledge that we have not taken care of our environment. We are sorry for the ways we've abused it, wasting it, hoarding it, destroying it, taking it for granted. We need your help as we try to work together for a better future. Help to reawaken our love for creation. Help us to imagine the future again. Help us to build with all of our creative genius new ways of being and living in this world, so that all we treasure today will have a hope in the future. May the agreements and goals set out at COP27 endure the test of time, and within them proclaim caring actions that bind us into a worldwide family. Help us to deepen our relationships and love for one another, affirming the wisdom of youth and the teaching of First Peoples from so many countries. Help us move past empty platitudes and naysayers, and help us grow our community of allies so that together we can create a sustainable and faithful response to the imminent climate crisis. For the sake of your majestic creation and for the love of all our relations, help us to work together for a better future. Amen.
This is a very old folk song out of Italy, but has been used as the tune has been used as a song of resistance since, we know for sure, since the late 1800s, working with women in the agricultural fields of Italy, right to fascism, and from there it spread throughout the world and has been used for many different resistance movements till the 2000s, when Belgian made it into a wonderful song for climate.
The end of the second line is really easy to sing. It's now, now, now. So let's all sing that part together. You'll know when it comes.
We need to wake up. We need to wise up. We need to open our eyes and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. We're on a planet that has a problem. We've got to solve it, get involved and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. We'll make it greener, we'll make it cleaner, we'll make it last, make it fast and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. No point in waiting or hesitating. We must get wise, take no more lies and do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future, and we need to start right now. Sure. It's a potato.
I guess I should use the microphone for people. Try and be inclusive. My kin, take heart. Just over 5 years ago, we didn't know Greta Thunberg's name. And in her one act, that solitary act of striking on a Friday, on a school day, the world in some ways began to wake up and take notice. We are a small gathering tonight here in Brandon, but we take heart. We recognize, and you know this, we are the earth. We are the human part in the web of nature. And what we do to the earth, we do to ourselves. Now it's time to go out and live into that reality and play our natural part in the web of creation. May it be so. Debbie, did you want to say